Today we will discuss a new work that is As You Like It by William Shakespeare. The work is from the subject of Shakespearean comedy and one of the important works that may come in your examination. So in this video we will discuss the summary, the plot and all these important things that can be asked for your competitive exams. Alright, so let's get quickly on the summary of As You Like It by William Shakespeare. It is written as a pastoral comedy where the story mainly focuses on a young woman named Rosalind. We have her cousin Celia and other characters that include Orlando. He is Rosalind's love interest. Then we have Rosalind's father, Duke Senior, and then we have her cousin's Celia's father named Duke Frederick. And of course there are a lot of other several court fools and country folk like Touchstone and Jax. So here in this work we can see the themes of love, exile, transformation and the contrast between court life and country life in Elizabethan society. So actually Orlando is a young gentleman whose older brother Oliver treats him badly and denies him his inheritance and education. Now here Orlando decides to challenge Charles, his old brother. He says that I'm going to fight you in a wrestling. And surprisingly, Orlando defeats his older brother Oliver. Now during this wrestling match, Rosalind and Orlando fall in love at first sight. You see, the character Rosalind can be one of the best female characters in Shakespearean's work. She shows intelligence, wit, and the ability to control her own destiny. Now moving forward, here we have Duke Frederick and Duke Senior. Both are the brothers, and Duke Frederick sees power from his old brother out of his ambition and jealousy. You see, Shakespeare presents these two brothers as complete opposites. Duke Senior is kind, generous and beloved by his people, whereas we have Duke Frederick who is suspicious and power hungry. So here Duke Frederick banished Rosalind's father, Duke Senior, from the dukedom, and then he decides to banish Rosalind from the court too. Then now what happens here is that the cousin Celia also decide to leave the kingdom and go with Rosalind. Although Duke Frederick is shown to be having power, but it is very difficult for him to control the loyalty between Rosalind and Celia. For Celia, her friendship with Rosalind is everything. So she also decides to go with Rosalind, risking every single thing of her life. On the other hand, we have the character of Duke Senior, who later becomes a philosophical figure in the Forest of Arden. The Forest of Arden is the main setting where most of the action takes place after the characters leave. This Forest of Arden represents the opposite of court life. At court we have strict rules, political schemes, betrayal, but on the other hand, all the characters who are banished from the court, all these characters find freedom, authenticity and natural living. So Duke Senior now becomes a philosophical figure in the Forest of Arden. He creates a small court of his own in the forest with his loyal lords. He decided to find happiness in simple forest life. As you know that Rosalind and Celia have already left the court and now they are also in the Forest of Arden. That's why they disguise themselves for safety. Everyone knows that it is not safe for girls to be outside. So Rosalind disguises herself as a young man named Ganymede. She transforms her identity to protect herself. But yes, Rosalind's disguise is not so simple. She begins enjoying the freedom that comes with the life of a man. And it happens that this disguise allows her to interact with Orlando in ways that she could not do as a woman. So Orlando is also here in the Forest of Arden and now she is talking to Orlando as a disguised man. Why Orlando is here in the Forest of Arden? Because he learned that his older brother Oliver plans to kill him. Orlando also decided to run away and move to Forest of Arden. And now here he misses Rosalind and he starts hanging love poems to Rosalind on the trees. But he also doesn't know that Rosalind is already with her but in male disguise. And now she tells to Orlando, let's practice how you are going to propose Rosalind if you are going to meet him reality. So Orlando agrees. Rosalind, disguised as Ganymede, she tests Orlando's love through this game. Orlando grows from a lovesick young man to someone worthy of Rosalind. Now here Orlando was not alone. Orlando is with his old servant named Adam, and they are starving in the forest. What happens here is that Orlando meets Duke Senior, who welcomes them to his forest court that he has set up in this forest. Orlando is now meeting with Duke Senior. On the other hand, we have a lot of subplots going on. We have a lot of sub characters. So we have Touchstone, falls in love with a country girl named Audrey. Then we have Sylvius, who is a shepherd in love with Phoebe. But then Phoebe falls in love with Ganymede. Ganymede, he is actually Rosalind in disguise. So this Phoebe falls in love with Ganymede. Meanwhile, what happens next here in the plot is that Duke Frederick, who is in the court, who sends the Oliver into the forest to find Orlando. We have already seen Rosalind and Celia have disappeared from the court, and Duke Frederick has always been so angry with both of them. At first, he suspected that Orlando helped them escape because Orlando also disappeared around the same time. So Duke Frederick threatens Oliver, telling him that if he doesn't find his brother Orlando and bring him back within a year, then Oliver will lose all of his land and property. So now Oliver has already been so tired in the Forest of Arden. On one occasion during his search, Oliver is attacked by a lioness while sleeping under a tree. Orlando happens to pass by that tree, and despite what Oliver has done, Orlando risks his own life to save Oliver's life, his older brother's life. This act of brotherly love completely changes Oliver, making him regret and his past behavior. He feels sorry from Orlando, and immediately he falls in love with Celia. Celia was disguised as a shepherd named Alina, and all the characters reveals their true identity. Orlando and Rosalind, Oliver and Celia, Sylvius and Phoebe, and Touchstone and Audrey all get married. While talking about Frederick, he made a point to kill his brother Duke Senior once and for all. But then when Duke Frederick was marching with his army toward the forest, he meets an old religious man at the edge of the forest. After speaking with this mysterious holy man, Duke Frederick undergoes a sudden and complete transformation. He was completely changed. Ending of the play, we are left with only one character, that's Jax. He's the same person who come up with the speech, all the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. This all line begins with his renowned 7 Ages of Man speech in Act 2, Scene 7, where he compares human life to play. So he is the only person left in the forest while everyone else returns to the court. So that's all we have to discuss in this video, As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Do let me know your views in the comment section below and the summaries that you want us to share in our next video. I will see you soon in the next video. That's it. Thank you.